Hola chicos! Today we are going to learn about the verb tener, which means to have. Tener means to have. We've used the verb tener before already when we ask the question, ¿Cuántos años tienes? Which is how old are you? Or literally translated, how many years do you have? And then you would respond with, Yo tengo 15 años, which is I am 15 years old, or literally, I have 15 years. So we already know how to say I have and you have. It's yo tengo y tú tienes, but we're going to learn how to do all of the conjugations for we, for they, for him, and for her. Okay, now something important about tener is that es un verbo irregular. No es un verbo regular. Es un verbo irregular. What does that mean? That means that it has irregular conjugations. Ser is also an irregular verb. There are plenty, but we're going to learn about regular ones this unit as well. But first, let's talk about the verb tener. So we already know, yo tengo. Yo tengo. When you say yo tengo, you are saying I have. And then we have tú tienes. And when you say tú tienes, you are saying you have. Él, ella, usted, you would say tiene, which could mean, he has, she has, or you, formal, have. So we have tengo, tienes, tiene. And then for nosotros, you say tenemos. Nosotros tenemos. And then you are saying we have. Then vosotros is tenéis. And then you are saying y'all in España have. Ellas, ellos, ustedes. Ellos, ellas, ustedes. The conjugation is tienen. Tienen. And then you are saying either they have or you all have. Okay? So we have yo tengo, tú tienes, él, ella, usted tiene, nosotros tenemos, vosotros tenéis, y ellos, ellas, ustedes tienen. Now, just like in English, you can use the verb tener to talk about things that you have. The other additional use that tener is used for that we don't use in English, well, there's a few things, but one of them is age, right? But just like in Spanish, or just like in English, you can use tener to talk about things that you have. So I have a big backpack. Yo tengo una mochila grande. Okay, so I see my subject is yo. I look up here. Yo, the conjugation is tango. This would be a good point for you to pause, work on this on your own, and then see how many you get right. I'm going to go through and work on these. Here my subject is tú. ¿Tienes tú un lápiz para la clase de español? Do you have a pencil for the class of Spanish? ¿Tienes tú un lápiz para la clase de español? Nosotros, I look up here, nosotros, my conjugation is tenemos. We have a lot to do today. Nosotros, we have a lot to do today. Nosotros tenemos mucho que hacer hoy. La clase. Now, if it's a class, which isn't a person, how do I say the class has? What would my subject be now? I'm talking about one class. That is my subject. If I want to say it, the class has, I use the él, ella, usted conjugation to say the singular class has. Now, if I was talking about the classes, plural, then I would use the ellos, ellas, ustedes to say they, as in the classes they have. Okay? But the class has a new student. I'm going to say tiene. La clase tiene un estudiante nuevo. Do you guys, ustedes, do you guys have money? Tienen dinero, ustedes. Los Simpsons have a big, I think this is supposed to say casa. Have a big house. They have. Tienen. She has mucha ropa. Ropa means clothing. Ella tiene mucha ropa. They have a big family, una familia grande. Ellos tienen. Oh, now we have to be careful here because we have this me gusta. And what we learned from last unit, anytime you want to say you like to do something, then the verb needs to be in the infinitive. What is the infinitive? Not conjugated. So the not conjugated form of this verb is here. Tener is the infinitive of to have, okay? So if I want to say I like to have many friends or a lot of friends, I would say me gusta tener muchos amigos. Vosotros is my subject, so I say vosotros tenéis una fiesta en 2 días. You guys have a party in 2 days. Okay, let's move on to how do you answer these questions? ¿Cuántos hermanos tienes tú? Hermanos is a new word. This means siblings. Or I could also ask, ¿cuántos amigos tienes tú? ¿Cuántos means how many. ¿Cuántos means how many. So how many siblings do you have? How many siblings do you have? ¿Cuántos hermanos tienes tú? So to answer that, I would use the yo form. So yo tengo 2 hermanos. Moving on. ¿Cuántos libros tienes? How many books do you have? ¿Cuántos libros tienes? I would say yo tengo 25 libros, or whatever number you want to put there. Okay, so there's the verb tener to talk about things that you have or that other people have. Now, just like in English, you can use this verb to express something that you have to do. In English, we do this all the time. I have to study. She has to go to the park. We have to run in gym class. So there's a formula to express this in Spanish. First, you start with a form of tener based on who your subject is. So is it I have to, you have to, he or she has to, we have to, y'all have to, or they have to. After the form of tener, you have to have this word que, which is kind of like what makes it an obligation. Tener que means to have to. So you can think of it that way. Tener que means to have to. And then that's always followed by an infinitive verb. Remember, infinitive verbs look like this. It still ends with er, ar, ir. It is not conjugated. So if I want to say I have to eat, I would say I have to eat. Tengo que comer. She has to study. Ella tiene que estudiar. She has to study. we have to read. Tenemos que leer. We have to read. Okay, so it always follows this formula, a form of tener, the word que, and then an infinitive verb to talk about things that people have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do this practice here, and then we'll be set to go. If you want to pause here and check your work, this is a good point to do so. We have to write, I would say, tenemos que escribir. I have to play the guitar. Tengo que tocar la guitarra.